Om Namo Bhagavate Ramakrishnaya. For seekers of God, spiritual talks of Mahapurush Swami Shivananda. This world is full of sorrow. Mahapurush Maharaj says, a devotee being resigned to God is never overwhelmed by sorrow. A devotee being resigned to God is never overwhelmed by sorrow. Chapter number 43, episode number 76. Place Belur, time Tuesday, August 29th, 1929. It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Mahapurushji was sitting in his room. He had not been well, suffering for some days from cold and asthma, with an intermittent slight temperature. It was painful for him to talk much, but his heart would be touched at people's earnestness and sorrows, and he found it difficult to control his emotions. He was ever eager to give people consolation and peace, forgetting his own physical sufferings. A retired judge came to the monastery, accompanied by his wife, son, and widowed daughter. When they stood up, after saluting Mahapurush Maharaj, he asked them affectionately to sit down. They sat on a mat which was spread on the floor. After a little conversation, the gentleman pointed to his daughter and said, "This is my daughter, Maharaj. Recently her husband passed away. She is very much grieved and has not yet been able to get over it. That is why I have brought her to you." Hearing this, Mahapurushji expressed his sympathy. Remaining quiet for a moment, he said gently, "That is the way of the world, my child. Sorrow, bereavement, pain, and anguish. This is what the world consists of. Real joy or peace is very rare in this world, and this round of birth and death that is ours, no one can check. Man has no hand in it. God alone is responsible for the creation, maintenance, and dissolution of this world, and it is by His will that all beings are born into it. He keeps them as long as He wants, and He takes them away whenever He wishes. We should know for certain that God is the Lord of birth, maintenance, and death. It is He who sends souls here to become parents, wives, children, friends, and relatives, and He keeps them entangled in some relationship or other, taking them back whenever He wishes. So long as man is not fully convinced of this, he will be subject to grief. But the moment he is firmly established in this knowledge, he is no longer subject to grief, having no reason to grieve. Only we should see that we do not neglect to serve our relatives with whom we have been connected by God. If we neglect to do this, we shall be sorry for it. Man has other things to do besides grieving, besides sorrowing. He has his worldly duties to attend to. Above everything else, he should progress towards the ideal of life. What does it profit a man to cry over his grief? Life is not meant only for grieving. We shall have to transcend birth, old age, and death and realize God, the object of our supreme love. Then alone there will be an end of all sorrow. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, by attaining which all other attainments pale into insignificance, and being established in which one is not shaken by the heaviest of sorrows. Yam labdhva chaparam labham manyate nadhikam tatah yasmin stito na dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. We shall have to quote sorrows also as blessings from God and our beloved. We shall have to quote sorrows also as blessings from God, our beloved, Unless a person is wholly resigned to God, surrendered to God, he cannot endure these sorrows and griefs undisturbed. It is very difficult for an average person to stand the actions and reactions of this world. A genuine devotee, because of his faith in God, is never overwhelmed by these. The object of human life is to attain that pure devotion and love and be in possession of the supreme bliss. Advance towards God, my child. The more you go towards Him, the more peace you will get. There is no peace in anything in this world. At the feet of God alone does one find the abode of peace. End of chapter 43. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.